Hello, everybody.
Hey, hey, hey. What's up, girl?
Um, all of it, a lot, lots of it is up. How about you?
Yeah. Yeah, lots on. I'm just still sick. I was home all day. So
Ew.
I took off work today. And I mean, for those who were waiting for part two for Evie tonight, the Healer of Queens, and she was going to go into uh, part two of that and explain
The healer of kings.
the Healer of Kings, which she spoke on this weekend. So hopefully by next week, we can have some clips of her speak
Yeah,
this past weekend, and maybe I'll throw a little nugget or two of mine in there too. But um,
absolutely.
yeah, but we're here.
Well, it has been a long day, and um, I don't have fevers or anything, but I am definitely not on my normal energy either. So, y'all just know that. Bear with us, and we're here, and we're rolling with it with
Right,
y'all.
right.
So, um, I I wanted to chat about something that has been on my mind for probably a few weeks,
Okay.
and
Thanks, Shannon.
that
Sorry.
what
Thanks, Shannon and Micah. I'm seeing their
they
comment.
are here. Hi guys, I was in the wrong chat. um, yeah, hi Shannon and Micah. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support, and we love you all. Um, So this has been on my mind for a while, and it is, I think, more relevant every day, and that is thinking for ourselves and thinking independently. Um, it I had a number of conversations in the past. Micah, it's not okay, but we're all going to be all right. Thank you. um, I've had a number of conversations in the past few weeks of um it's been varying topics, but it's all revolved around the same thing, and that is we as society, I feel like, have gotten so used to um needing opinions, needing to know what everybody else thinks, and we seem to have gotten away from being okay with thinking for ourselves, um being fully our own people. And I know we have kind of a special tribe here that um all about being authentic, but um it just has come to a new realization that so many people are not okay with somebody else having maybe a differing opinion, not obviously not thinking the same. um and I've noticed it with adults, I've noticed it at work, I've noticed it so many places, and it kind of just breaks my heart, honestly, because especially we as misfits, um, we stick, we stand out, we stick out, um, you know, whether we like it or not, to be honest, and it's hard, but we have to learn to be independent and think independent because um that's what makes the world great.
Yeah, I think you're talking about when I was looking up some key points for this topic. I think you're in the space of what would call be called critical analysis. So, independent thinking involves evaluating information and arguments critically rather than accepting them at face value. This means questioning assumptions and considering multiple perspectives.
Yeah, that was a very technical term for my tired brain and your sick self. Literally sick self. So thanks for that. That made my brain hurt more.
That was my contribution for tonight. That took all the brain power I had.
Look up some more definitions, Dream.
Right. Well, I got 4 more for you. You know me and my 5
I
points.
know. Oh god, that's hilarious. Um
I hope Micah and, Shannon like that, so you know
uh
what, Lauren? What's funny is when the audience starts talking to each other in the comments
yeah.
where Micah and, Shannon are going back and forth having a conversation while we're having a conversation. I love it. We're just family here.
yeah.
You know what? And hold on. This is Misfits Managed. Like and share, share and like.
Subscribe.
Subscribe, share, and like. Yeah, my bad. So we're a little off today. I'm sick. Lauren's exhausted. So
We're a little off. Let's be real.
yeah.
We're way off. um no, I've just had a lot of conversations and I've seen so many people talk about how um they they can't believe somebody would do something or say something, or another one is how um giving somebody maybe the benefit of the doubt when you don't know the full story of something because they do think independently, and they're okay with that because I it has been a part of my past probably month and a half, and it because someone who I thought knew me and would give me the benefit of the doubt didn't. It led to a lot of ripples, honestly.
Mm, okay.
um Levels of respect changed, levels of trust changed, and i I don't know her I don't know the reasoning behind it, but it just seems like that is the status quo for so many people, and it drives me nuts. And then I think Shannon said earlier, especially in kids, because my kids are young, early grade school, and they come home and they want to be with the in crowd. They want to do what their friends are doing. They want to be like their friends, and I'm like, no, you do you, bud. Like, if you want to do this, you do you.
Well, I think you skipped ahead and hit point number 3.
Oh, yay! I'm throwing you off.
No, no, this is good. So I think you're in the space of self-confidence.
Yeah,
If I could put a little more language to what you're saying,
Micah.
believing in
Sorry,
one's what was that?
Shannon's correcting me. That was Micah.
Oh, my bad. Well, you're talking about self-confidence. So believing in one's own judgment is crucial for independent thinking. This
Yeah.
self-confidence allows individuals to make decisions based on their own reasoning and values rather than simply conforming to societal pressures, which as a misfit, we don't conform to society pressures.
No.
Yeah. So
Well, not.
independent thinking is what you're saying is
Yeah.
vital to a person's self-confidence.
It is. And it's really shocking as how much um I don't know, how much of an epidemic it is, and Who are you looking at back there, G? I see you. Um,
Y'all are having way too much fun. I gotta mess with you, Lauren, and I gotta mess with you because you were talking about ripples, and every time I hear ripples, and I'm gonna just kind of
Oh
like
my
go
God,
this to
Mark, it is G. Remember,
huh?
it is G. Remember.
No, I was gonna keep it G. That's still
Okay.
G. But
I'm
whenever I
just
think
saying
of
we got
ripples,
ladies in the house now.
but whenever I think of ripples, I actually think of Sanford and Son. Because if you remember, there was a
Oh, his
popular drink
ripples.
ripples that he used to get all the time. So as soon as as soon as she said ripples, I was going like, ripples? Where's Fred Sanford? That's what I was thinking was where's Fred Sanford? Because that's what I was thinking about. I was not going down a X path. I was going down the whole, yeah, you got some ripple in your cup and everything along those lines. 'Cause that's what I was going. I was thinking Fred Sanford and Sanford and Son because he was always going in that ripple.
Boy, you and your bunny trails, where you be pulling that stuff from? I'm like, oh my God. Mark comes on in his first couple words. I'm just like, OMG. Where in the world did he pull that from?
Hey, she said ripple, and that's what got me to thinking about. But seriously,
squirrel.
I'm gonna bring it back to
Right.
her point of
I'm thinking of ripples in the ocean or in.
hey, ripples was a popular drink. I never had any. Don't know what it's like. I did have a great uncle that used to make some interesting liquor, and I will just leave it at that because he named it after himself and everything. But I was coming back to what y'all were talking about, which is this kind of notion of authenticity. So I'm actually going to bring you to something that I know you know quite well, coach, and everything, because I've been
Hold on a minute,
thinking
Mark. I
about.
think Shannon left you a message there.
I thought the message about the squirrels, which is why I was going to come back down away from come back away from the squirrels and everything. But this is where I was going to come back in this authenticity thing, because one of the things that you know as a coach, because you are a coach and everything along those lines, is that sometimes players will feel it, and they might feel it more than the coach wants them to feel it and
Right.
everything.
Ripple
But
it.
one of the things that Shaka Smart talks about, and he's the coach for Marquette, is that he tries to build a culture around winning and a culture around going beyond life. So it's not just the game of basketball and the game that you're playing, it's how it can make you a better person in life. So that's what his kind of doctrine is. I think it's a similar doctrine to you. I was talking to somebody recently, and they said it's a similar doctrine to Nick Saban, the famous coach of Alabama and everything. So it's like how you can figure out how you can be better in life, because you might feel like you wouldn't hit a 3-point shot, and you might go out on the 3-point shot line and take all those shots all day long. And sometimes the coach might be like, no, 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 don't take that shot. That is not your shot. Don't take that shot. And if it starts going in, the coach is like, on second thought, take as many as you want and everything, as long as you hit them and everything in that line. So I just wanted your take on that, because I know that sometimes even as a coach, players will draw up plays, and they will want certain players to do certain things because they're good at those things. But then if it's getting in rhythm, then they might go outside of their norm. And if it starts feeling it, and if it starts going in, then the coach might be like, I really didn't think you were a 3-point shooter, but you hit 10 in a row. So if you're going to keep hitting them, keep throwing them up there and everything like that, as long as you are hitting them. So I just your thoughts about that. And I did see Marcus comment.
Micah.
Are you referring to like the ripple effect?
Yeah, the ripple effect. Exactly.
Okay, I was like, okay, where is Mark going? Mom- I could see momentum. Yes, a 3-point shooter, a player who's not a consistent 3-point shooter that gets hot.
Right, exactly.
Then you keep going there. But I think what Coach Smart was talking about where you started talking about the culture,
Right,
where he's created a culture, and that dude is amazing because he creates that culture anywhere he goes.
right,
That winning attitude that he just believes in certain principles, and if you operate under those principles on a daily basis and you're consistent and intentional, that it creates thus your to your point a ripple effect. And because you do these certain events every day consistently and intentionally, then different things will just happen in your life because of what you're doing. So yeah, I believe in that.
yeah, and that's what I was going about with that ripple effect and how that can even go into being authentic. Because I think that he definitely tries to get players that are authentically fitting into the system. I mean, one of the
Right.
slogans of Marquette is "Be the difference." That is a slogan that's been out there for a while, and they want not just the athletes but the student body to be the difference, and that means being the difference in society, and not just while you're in that university confines and everything. So that is actually one of their main slogans, is to be the difference. If you watch a game, you'll see that that's a slogan that is out there. But that still
Our
fits
audience
the
is
whole
on
notion
fire tonight,
that
man.
still fits the whole notion of authenticity.
You're right, Mark, but I'm laughing at the audience. They are on fire, man.
Thank God we need it because we are not. Okay.
Look at Shannon, man. That's hilarious.
So based on what you two are talking about, I actually think that is, as Shannon so nicely said, nice redirection, because that takes it in a great spot to what I was talking about. And I kind of started hinting on the, like, we need to get away from all this, because first I will add that because none of us can fit into that lovely box and be confined and, you know, all of that. Oh,
We lost him.
he's gone. I have found that have you two ever noticed that people get jealous sometimes when you don't fit in the box and you just kind of do your thing and then end up like lots of good things start coming from it? You ever notice that?
I
Yeah.
noticed that. Sorry, Coach. I noticed that, and actually, a friend of mine mentioned something about that because, and this is, I forget the exact quote, but many people have phrased it, and y'all may have even had this quote as well. A lot of times, people are jealous of you or jealous of what you're doing because they wish that they were doing what you're doing and everything like that. So I've heard several people that have made that
Yeah.
point. Several shows that I've been part of, that sometimes people will be jealous of somebody because they wish that they could have the skills, or they wish that they had the idea that you had, and everything along those lines. If I remember correctly, because himself, food is art. Micah is a chef, and I'm sure that there are other chefs out there that when they sample some of her delicious food, by the way, y'all got to send something to North Carolina. Yeah, I know that was a squirrel moment, but still, y'all got to send something to North Carolina and everything along those lines. But I'm sure that when they've had that delicious food of hers, that there are some chefs that are trying to figure out how they can match her, how they can have a similar kind of experience. And there's some chefs out there that are probably like, well, I should have done that. I should have had that experience, or I should have had that job. They get in that jealousy mindset.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I was talking about.
Well, to your point too, Lauren, I think you're hitting on creativity and innovation breeds haters. So independent thinkers often generate their own original ideas and solutions.
Yep.
They're willing to explore unconventional approaches and think outside the box, like all of us do here, which can lead to innovation. And you would think that's a positive. That's a great thing. It's a powerful thing. But
it is.
It just creates hater after hater after hater.
And you know what? You know this. And first of all, I got to point out, Mark, I have you all on my y'all thing. I just caught you saying it, so have to point that out.
Yes.
But what? I just caught Mark saying y'all when he used to make fun of me for that because I was Midwest and had to point that out. Yes, I'm full of squirrels.
Well, Lauren, since you're going down that path and everything, I think I've shared this with, and I know this is one of
Shots
those
fired. Shots fired.
Y'all are teaching me about.
Misfits fans, shots have been fired.
Yeah, but I know that I've told Coach D this, but when I went to Marquette, of course, that was back in the ice ages that we call the 80s and everything. Y'all is somewhat of a Southern expression, and I used to say it regularly. And my classmates who were from Chicago, New York, a lot of the urban areas, they made a bet with me. They said, every time you say y'all, you owe us something like a quarter. And I could never get out of saying y'all. I think that we got to bet till I was owing them like about probably a couple of $100, and they just basically said, Mark, we give up. You're never going to stop saying y'all, so we're just going to kill the bet. So the bet was killed. I never had to pay up and everything, and thank goodness, because I'm sitting there going like, if they had kept that bet going, y'all might not be having me on the show because I'd probably be still in debt to them for
You and me both. So would I. Um, yeah. Micah's down there typing squirrels. It's fine, Micah. Yes, that's what I do. Um, and now I've lost my train of thought. Dang it, Mark. Um, oh, there we go. I have found so much that, well, one of my, I don't remember. Gee, you know, this is one of your favorite scriptures is, what is that face?
I'm waiting for you.
No weapon formed against me shall prosper.
Isaiah 54:17.
That one.
Family credo.
I have learned to live by that recently because, well, as you were just saying, lots of shots have been fired because even when shots are fired, I refuse to stop. I refuse to back down. I refuse to not keep going. Put one foot in front of the other. And it's so easy to want to wave the white flag and say, you know what, this is too much. It's a lot of work, and I'm sick of getting the shots fired at me because it hurts, and it does. But it's very interesting that when you choose to use the shield, use the armor, and know that it's going to hurt, but it won't prosper, one foot in front of the other, you keep doing you. And the independent thinkers, the people who are willing to stand out and think for themselves, come out the other end. Yes, with some battle scars, but you know what I have figured out is that the more battle scars that I have, the more fun things I get to talk about and add to all of my fun, fantastic life experiences. And when I say fun and fantastic life experiences, take that with a grain of salt, since the sarcasm. However, they are still experiences. But it's crazy.
That's good. That's good.
I do my best. I'm here all night.
Mark, you chewing on that?
I'm chewing on that. I'm thinking about that because I'm thinking about those folks that are trying to be the folks that will not get with the support system and will kind of like be those folks that are going to try to throw roadblocks in your way, because we know as misfits that there are people out there that will sometimes try to give you all the reasons that you shouldn't be the success that you are, because you know there have been quite a few misfits that had a misfit journey, but they are now known as complete geniuses and all along those lines. Because when I think of the misfit society, there's a gentleman that I understand had some interesting history in terms of his mental health and all along those lines, but I can't remember if it was Asperger's or what he had, but one of the greatest minds of all time, and you may have heard of this mind and everything, is a gentleman by the name of Carl Sagan. And Carl Sagan had all kinds of different issues with his life and everything, and even Stephen Hawkins is another one that had a lot of issues and everything, but they are still now known as some of the greatest geniuses of our time, just like if you want to go down the notion of super smart people, Albert Einstein, I understand, had some issues and all along those lines. But and even what's the guy that did the thing with his ears, the artist, Victor Hugo and everything. So
well, so I will add to that because I just did a presentation last Friday, and it was all about neurodiversity in the workplace, because we all know I love talking about that. And one of my fun slides, I think it is the coolest thing ever, is 2 columns full of past and present, not even heroes, well-known people, actors. Einstein's one of them. So many different people that all have some type of difference like that. And I'm like, you would have never thought some of those people. And I think it's the cool thing because I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And yeah, Einstein was one of them. They think because at that time it wasn't, those things weren't coined quite yet.
Right.
But I thought it was the coolest thing as I was doing that because I'm like, that adds some realism to people in history who have not been afraid to ruffle some feathers, not been afraid to go against the grain, not been afraid to shine, but yet be tarnished a little bit, get a little, I won't say get a little messy, but that's not the right term.
Or just thinking outside of the norm. I mean,
Yeah.
what was the astronomer that basically did a lot of stuff with the way we think of the world and everything? It begins with a C and everything, but I'm trying to think of his name. But I know he's one of those great artists that was known for like understanding astrology and astronomy and everything like that. I want to say it began with a C. It'll come to me later. And the artist,
Don't make me pull up Google, Mark.
yeah.
So I know she's.
And the artist I was trying to think of was Vincent Van Gogh, not Hugo, but Vincent Van Gogh, who had the issue with the ears and everything.
I thought it was. I wasn't going to correct you, but I thought so.
That's who I was had in mind. But it'll come to me.
Was that Shannon saying that's her?
Yeah. Shannon, what do you have the lovely pleasure of, I don't want to say dealing with, but dealing with? Galileo
was one, but I was actually thinking
Copernicus.
about
Copernicus. Good God.
Copernicus. That's who I was thinking about. Was Copernicus? Yes, Copernicus is the one I was trying to remember. Yeah, that's the one I was trying to remember. But I mean, Copernicus was not going with the norm of the times. But I think at that time they did not think of the world the way we think of the world now. But he definitely saw some things in his research that caused him to change it, kind of like Sir Isaac Newton and others that are great people of science that didn't want to just go with the norm. I mean, if they weren't misfits, I don't know who was a misfit because they were definitely going against the norms of the time and everything. And ironically, sometimes you go against the norms of the time. It comes back to what we're talking about with being authentic. Because sometimes if you are authentic and you go against the norms of the time, then you get labeled. Because I mean, as a woman, I'm sure you're aware of this, and one of the founders of the network. I know y'all are hoping to get on the network soon and everything. But even Kimberly talked about the fact of many of the great women of the days were literally labeled as witches because they were seen as being past going against the norm. So then the norm or society wanted to label them because they didn't understand them.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And you're gonna get me on a soapbox now, Mark.
He's in your space.
Huh?
He's in your space.
He is. I don't want to get on that soapbox right now because that will just lead into a whole nother thing. But Shannon's talking about some of the stuff that she is a piece of her, and I can side with you on the ADHD, Shannon. That is what I talk about quite a bit. I actually am just joining to co-host the ADHD Women's Group.
Oh, nice.
Help that support. So, yay for that. We all know it's a passion of mine, and actually I'm working on getting my younger son now going through the diagnosis phase with that. Yay!
I'm a pivot, put us back on track.
Would you please?
I'm like, what the hell just happened here? But
I don't know.
So I want to go back into open-mindedness was a point.
Yeah.
Oops, hold on a
Well,
second. We've got a surprise guest, and she's popped in and everything. So Mike is in the house.
what's up,
Micah!
girl?
Hi, how's it going? Well, you guys
Hello.
have been cracking me up all night long, and you started talking about authenticity and witches, so you knew how to step in. So, because I can speak to all of that for
Well,
sure.
I'm gonna throw this out there to all of you guys. Then, so the next point, open-mindedness. We're talking about independent thinking, okay, independent thinkers. So, open-mindedness. While independent thinkers have their own opinions, they remain open to new ideas and feedback. This willingness to listen and adapt to promises, or listen to and adapt promises or promotes growth and a deeper understanding of complex issues.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mm.
I
What do y'all think about that?
like.
Look at Lauren. She's just chewing.
I have kind of a brave biblical story about that, actually.
Let's
If
hear it.
What?
actually, very recent even.
Yay!
So I feel like I should probably speak to it a little bit because why else would I be on here randomly in this topic?
That's exactly why. Let's hear it.
But so I have been through a journey, which I think we touched a little bit on, a very deep spiritual journey. I've gone from I was a born again Christian because it told me to I could convince you that God did not exist, and I was holding hands with Satan. To I live every moment of my life, absolutely every moment. I have the most intimate relationship with God I have ever had, ever could have ever imagined. I mean, the love and the security and the patience, kindness that I receive every moment of my life cannot be overstated. That said, I had some religious trauma. I was actually in a cult. Funny enough. And
Wow.
yeah, no, there's a whole bunch of craziness because I was raised where like my great aunt was the town's fortune teller, and everyone always had some mystical whatever happening around them. People could see ghosts. People could speak. My mother had visions and dreams. Like there was all this spiritual stuff all in my family, and I was raised with an air of that always. And I actually testified to this, which is beautiful and an amazing, just up for me, which is beautiful, wonderful. Because something about testifying in the name of God, I guess that opens some doors for just so you know that. But anyway, so on this journey, I kind of shunned Christian faith, the whole idea of it, because I was raised in a way that I was taught to fear God, like truly fear God, like truly fear God. I was 11 years old when I read a book called A Divine Revelation of Hell, which if you because it's not, and I don't know about your God, but my God, I only speak to my God, has no fear for anyone.
Say that again. He has no fear of what?
For me, and there's no fear in my relationship with God. None.
Yeah, I think the church has done a bad job of, and why our young people are so disillusioned with religion today is when we talk about fear of God, it's not being um, afraid of Him. It's talking about reverence and awe. When I think of God, I should be in awe. Oh Lord, I'm in awe of you, or that I dread to do sin because I I fear letting God, like, a child not wanting to let their parent down, a
Yep.
husband not wanting to let his wife down. That's reverence. That's not being afraid.
It's like, you know, whenever you're a kid and you ask Santa for just what you want for Christmas,
I don't know
and
what that is, but okay.
or and yeah, okay, well, you know what I'm saying. But you're kind of an asshole all year, and and you get what you wanted for Christmas, and you're like, oh shit, oh, I have gotten so much better than I deserve. That's
That
what
would that would be grace.
that's the feeling. That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
not fear. It's thank you for loving me more than I do myself.
Yeah.
That would be grace.
Because absolutely everything God has us do for ourselves is for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because He loves us more than we could ever love ourselves.
Hmm.
It's not a
Hey,
it's surrender.
Go ahead, Mark.
Coach, just along those lines, because this is, and I've had this conversation with you before, not so much with Micah and Lauren, but where I
Oh,
sometimes feel that the church loses some of our young people and loses folks in general is this notion of absolutes and absolute terms. I actually just watched a documentary yesterday that talked about a term that is, I think, misunderstood by a lot of people because it was talking about the nature of being submissive. And the way that they described it is that if the partners are working together, then it doesn't mean that they have to be at the mercy of the male figure, and that's kind of where we misunderstand what submissive means. And all along those lines, it's actually supposed to be a partnership. And like I've told you before, Coach, where and I'm not saying that I won't know until the end times, and I'm not in a rush to get to the end times and everything. But I do think that some churches are too caught up in absolutes and think that their way is the only way. And I personally think, and I hope that I'm right, but I won't know until that absolute final chapter, that there's probably going to be some people that are going to be surprised at heaven's gates because I just can't believe that there are that many absolutes that it can only be one way and everything. But that's just my philosophy and everything. And others that may disagree with me, including those that think that it's their way is the only way and everything. But that's just my opinion.
uh-oh. I was about to tackle it, but I think Mike is
I was
chomping.
gonna say Mike is on
Lauren
this.
is, I can defer my comment for a minute.
I have so many things to say because there were so many things in that that I can so
Yeah, that's a whole show to unpack all of that, Mike.
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
dude, you just like you just opened a door that you
Pandora's box
don't
right
have
there.
time
There's
for.
Micah's soapbox.
No. Yes. Listen, where do we even go? First, do you have any idea how beautiful it is?
You're breaking up.
Yeah, and so you're cutting out.
Sorry. I was trying to find my computer, but my daughter seems to have stolen it, so I'm at the mercy of my data right now. I apologize. But I was just saying it's so beautiful to be able to surrender, like in a relationship. Like speak to your relationship with your partner, if you are so blessed to have such a relationship, or speak to your relationship with God. It should honestly be one and the same. It should feel one and the same. You should be able to surrender yourself to that person because love is patient, love is kind, love.
Now, now I'm chomping because I'm agreement with you, but I think you got to put some parentheses in here somewhere because when to both your points, I believe scripture when it's talking about submission, it's talking about in the context of community of marriage. That's where we mess up. That's why it's not doable to have that submissive situation in a relationship because it wasn't designed for relationship. It was designed for marriage and marriage only. So in a marriage, I believe in the hierarchy of God that He put the man in the proper order over the woman and so on. I mean, that's a whole nother topic. But in that, in submission, husbands, I mean, wives should. It says the scripture should wives should submit to their husband, but I believe that's mutual. To what
Absolutely.
you were just saying, that's mutual submission. I
Right.
think if a husband is leading in the right way, it's only natural. If he's operating out of his masculine energy, it's natural for a woman to reduce her masculine energy and operate in her full feminine energy. And
Mm-hmm.
then when she's operating in her full feminine energy, it's easy for a man to submit some of the things that he needs to his wife. It's mutual. It just bounces off each other. But again, that's in the community of context of marriage.
I'll agree. I would even take it further that it should be a marriage truly blessed by God.
Right.
Because we can get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a whole boy. We could have a whole part 2, 3, and 4 on that.
Oh, we could. Okay, so there was another part to that we can, because we can't unpack all of that for sure. But where did we
Hold on,
land
hold on,
on?
hold on. Before you start, I've got to what we learned last week, Saturday, and I think I do a fairly decent job of this with Lauren, and I always give her her roses while she's like yet alive, and I love I love her as my partner here and my co-host Mark as well. But I got to shout out to you, Micah, because Misfits Managed Nation. If you didn't get a chance to watch Saturday morning's Activate Your Power Now, just go to the page on YouTube or Facebook, Activate Your Power Now. Shout out to Izzy and James, who are our fearless leaders in that and have done an amazing job in building an awesome ministry / program. But the event was over. The event was over. Izzy spoke last, summed up everything that everyone had said, blew our minds, and we were left, and we just talked about reverence and awe. We were left in reverence and awe. And then Micah gets up and it's like, wait 1 minute, I'm inspired and I got to speak. And she tore the house down. Tore it down. So if you haven't watched it, you got to go back and watch it. As a matter of fact, Lauren, can I make an executive decision? Because I know it's next week is a busy week, and we may not be able to record because I know I'm leaving to go out of town Wednesday morning. I think Mark, Lauren, a good show to replace us, if I can get it pulled from Izzy, would be that Saturday morning show to replay right here next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's cool. We can definitely do that. If you can
That
get
would be
that played, I'd
great.
love to do that.
It
That
was
would be
that powerful of a
It
Tuesday.
was such a powerful night. I mean, morning. It was just like, I it opened doors for me. It did.
Yay.
Clearly,
It did. It
she
did.
left us all bawling. So clearly,
Just the love was definitely there. And I could only do that because you all provided that space for me. Like, that's the beautiful thing about our tribe is we're giving each other space, and by giving each other space, we're allowing ourselves to be more authentically ourselves, which only opens more doors for us. So by walking in that room and authentically being myself and allowing you authentically be yourself, you allow me to even deeper into myself, which only allows us all to shine God's love more, which is only going to keep those ripples going, Mark.
Yeah, those ripples have got to keep going, and not the drink, but the other ripples and everything. But definitely got to keep those ripples going. It's interesting y'all are saying this, and I know this is going to be a pivot. Y'all going to be like, Mark is pivoting way too much and everything. But when I went to the event today, I actually saw an old friend. He's in his early 70s, but he's actually notorious here in the area. He has a recognition, and you'll love this, Lauren, and you might, because Michael, you're in the food business. But Mr. Rainbow, whose wife is actually involved in our artistic community here and everything, and as you can tell by his name, he is a clown. So literally, he is a clown in his 70s, and he was telling me that he has done like something like 30,000 birthday parties, and he really remembers this because he's met people that are now in their 40s, but they did their kid parties when they were teens and all along those lines. But he is authentic in his way that he presents himself as a clown. So he dresses up and does the whole clown outfit, but he is being authentically him, and you can even hear some of that clown personality when he is in his regular personality. Like when he's not dressed up in a clown suit, you can still see that personality shine in him and everything. Because, like I said, he's been doing this for decades and everything along those lines. When he told me that it was, and I may have the number wrong, it could be 30 or 35,000. I'm sitting there going like, you guys, and that's his birthday party. We're not even talking about like the other things that clowns do. That's just birthday parties alone. He's done that many in that many decades.
I love it. Authentically following your purpose.
Right, exactly. He was authentically following his purpose.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to like take over, but I really wanted to make that point about, because I'm pulling us all the way back to the beginning when we were talking about the taking in information. So as I come into understanding God and having that close relationship with Him, I had to pull this back because I actually came up with a really good joke about this. It's kind of a joke. It's not a squirrel. I'm squirreling us back, Shannon. I'm taking us back, Shannon. Where are you? Why don't you hop on, girl? Come on.
Oh, we're trying. We're working on that. Shannon's gonna be a guest soon. We're working on her.
So, I'm sorry. I love you, Shannon. So, but anyway, I just wanted to, because I made a joke about how, because I am a visual learner. Okay, stop it. I'm a visual learner. Okay, I'm either a hands-on or a visual learner. Coach G, I'm either a hands-on or a visual learner. Okay, and I wanted to joke to go right, and I got tripped up because we're also, anyway. I'm a hands-on or a visual learner, and I'm really kind of sick of the hands-on learning, the lessons in life. So
Yeah.
I've been looking for something outside of me, right?
Yeah.
Out to get that like guidance, right? But I always bring everything back within. It has to pass my heart, right? Or I'm not buying it. And
Yeah.
I have a beautiful Christian friend who very much so follows God in the Bible. And I have not been able to accept the Bible very well because of the way that I was raised, right? And because I was raised with a different side of that Bible, with a different understanding of it. So I've been rejecting Jesus and the Bible and all of that all this time, even though I have a close relationship with God. I'm like, but this is my relationship, my understanding, and I'm rejecting all of yours, right?
Yeah.
But I needed to open myself up to something. Because, and I've opened myself up to community, and I opened myself up to ideas, and I take in what I can, but I really would love that roadmap, right? So I decided, because I couldn't read the Bible and like really fully comprehend and feel it, I decided to watch a movie.
Ooh.
And it really, really brought some stuff home for me. And when I was done watching that movie, I was like, thank you, God.
What'd you watch?
Thank you, God. Passion of Christ.
Oh, I bawled to that.
Yeah.
That's a killer movie and everything.
Yes, it is, man.
And it gave me
all of us.
just such a much more beautiful, loving side of the Bible than I was taught as a child. And it gave me such a relief to know that I can continue to find my own interpretation and understanding and have a little bit of a roadmap. And that has been my week since giving that testimony. Wow. Is finding my way not only truly to Jesus, but even that little roadmap.
Hey, along those same lines, I got a question for Coach and for Lauren and even for you, Mike. Thing. And it kind of comes back to what this purpose and this conversation was originally supposed to be about, which is authenticity and everything. Don't you think that in order to truly be authentic, you sometimes have to be bold? Because I don't know these people from Eve. Literally, I just met them today and everything. And like I said, there were hundreds, if not multiple hundreds of people at this event that was honoring a historical organization here in Durham, North Carolina and everything. But two women came and they caught everybody's attention. I will tell you the reason they caught everybody's attention. Everybody was either dressed casually. I'm literally coming from it, so you can see what I had on. I had a sweater and you can't see the slacks, or the jeans, but I had on jeans. And there were other people who were dressed in suits and things that are you would usually see at a conference. But the two people that caught people's attention were two young ladies that decided to, because they are proud of their native heritage, to come dressed in native regalia. So they literally came to the outfit complete with the feathers, complete with the native regalia, because they wanted to be authentic in who they were, and they were going to represent themselves in that way. So to me, that was a bold step for them to come, because I mean they're coming into an environment that was not required, but they wanted to be authentically them. So they were going to come in that kind of bold kind of step. And I know sometimes we as misfits can be afraid to be bold and come in that kind of environment. I just wanted y'all's take on that, because to me, authentic is also being bold, and sometimes we're not willing to be as bold as we should be and everything. But I'd love to hear y'all's take on that, because like I said, I wish I had the rare pictures, but I didn't take pictures. Others did, and maybe y'all get a copy of them. But I was just impressed with these two women that literally came dressed in their regalia outfit.
All I gotta say is the sparkly shoe effect, Mark.
Oh Lord.
I did a whole show on it one time. I wore my literally silver glittery shoes to a doctor appointment one day, and I took a picture of my feet, and I was just like, you know what? If I'm bold enough to wear these just any and everywhere, who else will see that and think, I never thought to just throw on some jeans and a t-shirt. Yeah, Shannon remembers it. See?
Yeah.
But yeah. I was like, who's that gonna inspire? Where's that ripple effect?
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, Mike?
Yeah, I see she's stewing there.
Yeah, even in the religious standpoint, I had a friend of mine that was a theater major. One of her mentors passed, and I think she might have been one of the few people that came in quote unquote costume. And yeah, I mean, even at the time I was actually dating the woman, and it even threw me off and everything. But definitely, I do think that in hindsight, she was giving honor to one of her mentors by coming in what some people would consider as theatrical costume to a funeral, but she was wanted to honor him in that way. And like I said, it caught me off guard, but that was her way of honoring him and everything. But I just wanted your take. I could there's been times that you came to your food events in different kinds of stuff. No?
I think Micah's moved right now. You want me to take another point and then we come back, or you ready to? Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Oh God, help me. All I can say is whenever God wants something, there's no turning away from it, because
Yep.
you guys are really pulling this out of me.
Let me throw this at you then. My last point for the night is responsibility and accountability.
Ooh.
You're killing me.
Yeah. Okay. Shoot. Listen.
Killing me.
Independent thinking comes with the recognition that one is responsible for their decisions and their beliefs. And we in this country, in particular in our faith, in the Western culture, think we can say and do anything. We can create our own truths and our own ideals, our own beliefs, our own doctrines, and that will stand. And none of that stands against the will of God. This sense of accountability encourages individuals to be deliberate in their thought process and the consequences of their actions. It makes us think, yes, I have the right to say whatever I want, but I also bear the responsibility and accountability for the things that I say. I'm now held accountable for that. We don't do that well in Western culture.
No.
We create our own truths. We spew our truths. There's no logic sometimes. There's nothing factual about it. Just because I believe it or I think it, I can say it. But just because I can say it, is it wise to say?
Yep.
I think a true independent thinker, a Misfits managed independent thinker, is responsible and takes accountability for the things that they say and do.
Yep.
So, Micah, one of the things I said Saturday, to much is given, much is required. Right?
Okay. Fine. Sorry. You're killing me. I don't know what to say. Listen. So, listen. So,
Florida
you
just
don't
cracking up off the
understand what's
screen.
happening here. You don't understand. You're just little God's little puppets right now. Like, you don't get it, okay? You're God's little puppets right now. Okay. So, after my testimony on Saturday, it's been quite the spiritual journey for me, as I may have mentioned earlier. And I was praying, and my prayer was, God, get me out of your way, because I'm in a tight spot right now. And my goal is just to follow the path that God has laid for me. Like, that's my only prayer. Like, I can't pray for anything else. I don't know what else to pray for. I don't want to pray for money. I don't want to pray for a fancy house. I don't want to pray to win the lottery. I don't want to pray for the love of my life to be right next to me. I don't want to pray for any of that. I want to pray to get out of God's way.
Pray
So
for His will.
that's what I did. I prayed to
Yep.
get out of God's way. And shortly after that, I was given. So I've been working on rebranding and trying to figure out what step I'm supposed to take forward, because I've got a million beautiful ideas and I'm blessed with some amazing talents and gifts. And how do you know which one to follow?
Yep.
Right? How do you know which one to follow when you're so abundant and so blessed? And
Yep.
so I've been following with heart any of them, right? Because I've been just following a little bit, waiting for God to open a door. Well, did I not just say God opened a door for me when I did my testimony? Well, okay. So this, like, all of what we've been talking about tonight seems to be like confirmation that I'm supposed to step through that door, which is terrifying because I've been very hesitant about that door, because that door is very bold.
So, Micah,
That door is very authentic.
I'm with that great power
Oh, girl.
comes that great responsibility.
Mm-hmm. She just tied in what I said. I mean, Micah, to much is given, much is required. If anyone takes the time to listen to your testimony from last week or from Saturday, there's a call on your life. There's a call on your life. So I think the power in that is you get to walk without fear. The phrase in the Bible that's most prevalent is "do not be afraid," and that applies to you. You are a chosen vessel, and God is simply saying and taking you through life's experiences to let you know, do not be afraid. Number one, let me help you help yourself. It's not about you. It's not about you, honey. You're the vessel. It's not about you. He just chose you to walk it out and steward it. When I learned, to your point, what you said earlier, when I looked in the mirror and said, Gary, shut up and get out of the way and let God just be God.
Yep.
That's when peace came to me, because I was shouldering the weight of a massive ministry called Beck, Battleground Equipping Center, that I haven't unloaded and unpacked to the world yet, but it's massive. And when I look at it, I'm like, I cannot do this. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I don't have the people. I don't have the facilities. So I
Yep.
flipped that and I said, Lord, give me the money.
Yep.
Give me the facilities. Give me the people, my tribe, like-minded, like-hearted people. And when all that happens, when that alignment comes into place, I'll go. And even before it all gets there, I stand in faith, Micah. I stand in faith, believing, just taking one step at a time. And as I take the steps, all those pieces start to fall in place.
Yep.
The money, the position, the right person that comes into your life, all the things that you're saying I don't want to pray for. Do you not know that He knows the things that you're in need of?
I know. That's why I don't pray.
Right. I'm saying you don't have to. If you stay focused on what's for Him, He circles behind you and fills in all the gaps of the things that you need. You're in the perfect space right here, right now, where He wants you.
I know. It's ridiculous how in alignment the situation is. I can't even explain it.
It's beautiful. And you know me, I get excited. I'm the coach. I get excited, so I'm not yelling at you. I'm not fussing at you. I got to say that because people are like, why is coach yelling at her? I'm not yelling. I'm just very passionate. I know this woman. I love this woman. We're great friends.
Yep.
I've watched her grow tremendously since I met her, and you haven't even scratched the surface yet. That's what's exciting.
Okay, well,
She's just beginning.
I am putting aside food art and focusing on being a author, public speaker.
You're gonna do what?
I'm gonna focus on author, public speaker, and
Well, you got to go wherever he's leading you. That's what you asked for. Wherever he's leading you, not where Gary or Lauren, Mark, anyone else. It's about where he's leading you.
Yep.
Shannon, we can't wait to get on the show because she's walking out right now, real time, what I'm talking about.
Yep.
inspirational life coach. My brand is going to be Passenger Princess.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your brand's gonna be what?
Passenger Princess.
Passenger Princess.
All about surrender.
Yep.
Imagine that. All about.
Yeah.
Is that, may I ask, is that in recognition of the little girl that's ready to speak?
I'm just trying to get out of his.
And sometimes, hey, coach, and I know we're winding down. Sometimes the shows are interconnected, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that because, as you know, your show is on Tuesday. Today is Tuesday evening and everything, but on Sunday there is a show with three Latin women, and it is called Que Pasa Mujer, and they had Karen Rojas on, and she literally designs and has her company that designs seats, like seat covers and stuff like that. So if you get a seat, so she literally did that in Virginia. So she was doing them just for cars, and then she went from cars to literally doing them for airports. So it's kind of like that notion of if it's for God's will, it will happen in God's time and everything. Because she got a contract where she's now designing for a major airport in Virginia the seat covers. So if you go and catch a plane and it happens to be a Virginia plane, you might see one of her seat designs and all along those lines. And she's got it in her mind that her next step will be designing for spacecrafts because you got to have a seat if you go in a spacecraft, so you got to have seats that are designed in that space. So she's literally got a company that designs these seats for different types of vehicles, but she's gone from cars to, well, actually she went from, I think, just random sewing to cars to airplanes, and now is thinking about going into space and everything with her designs and everything like
Nice.
that. That's being authentic as well. So she's been her authentic self.
Yeah, it is. Well, guys, it has been a night. Micah, thank you for being brave and bold. I think it's time for everybody to go rest up, get some sleep, process, and everything else we need to go do.
Listen,
He's already asleep.
We got that.
Able to get out of bed.
Grab some food, do everything else that we do in these kind of spaces and everything. So I'm going to get out of here with your commercial and everything. And by the way, speaking of being bold, and Coach, you'll love this. I think Michael was totally bold because she was in there hearing us kind of like go back and forth, have our squirrel moments, have every kind of moment. She's like, this is a party. I want to join the party. So she literally popped in because she's like, I want to join the party too. So she's like, y'all are having too much fun. I got to come to the party.
I'm not planning anything. I'm just getting out of his way.
Yeah, I just felt an anointing on some things that I know she needed to say. So I sent her the link in the midst of our discussion. I was like, if you're open,
Yeah.
jump in. And man, did you bless our hearts tonight.
You blessed mine. You helped me open some doors and take that leap that I was afraid to take alone. So thank you.
Well, Micah, again, thank you for being open to take the leap on here with us and being willing to share your guts with the Misfits Managed Nation. You are amazing, and again, brave, and we know that you can do it. You know that you have all of our support, and everybody join us next week. Yes, it is Thanksgiving week, and we're gonna have some powerful stuff. You'll be able to see, I believe, the testimony that they're all talking about from Miss Micah here, along with G and the rest of the AYPN clan.
Evie tore the house down too.
Ooh, and Evie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that,
Providing such a safe.
there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With that, we've got the message about this organization that definitely Lawrence got in this lovely commercial. I know I still got to get one from Coach G. He'll get one to me one of these days and everything. Yeah, I had to give you a hard time and everything. But we've got this one, and we've also got the one around mental health that is a regular here on this particular show. And this is very fitting on this particular evening. So I'm going to get out of here and have a fun time. I might have to find me some food, too. But
Right.
have a good one.
It's your boy, Coach G.
And Lauren.
And their producer, Mark.
And Micah, I'm sorry, forget this part every time. I'm like snapped out right now. I'm like, I'm in bed. Like, listen.
No problem.
Good night.
Right.
Hey, Misfits Managed Nation. Thank you so much for watching tonight. I so appreciate you. I know Gary and I both appreciate you. I wanted to let you know, though, that being a misfit doesn't stop here. It is a piece of you, and it is a piece that we have to live with every day. But the good news is we can make good from being a misfit, even though it is chalked up to being a bad thing. Let's talk about how to make being a misfit is good. Let us talk about being a phoenix and rising from the ashes. And I want to help you do that through Forged by Fire. That is how you can work with me. And we would do coaching, we can do consulting, we can do one-on-one or group. I also do speaking opportunities. But let's get that inner misfit shining the way you were meant to.
If you're watching this with your friends, you'll probably make a joke.
Because you know what you feel on the inside
isn't what you want people to know.
If you have to pretend to be happy,
find someone you trust and tell them.
If you get mad at things and you don't know why, or have thoughts about hurting yourself,
find someone you trust and tell them.
You are never alone when you share.
Seriously, people care about you.
It's okay to not understand what you're feeling.
And it's easy to think that you're all alone.
But you don't have to be.
You're never alone when you share.
Don't be ashamed to tell someone you trust what you're feeling.
You're not alone.
You are not alone.
Find someone you trust and tell them.
Tell a parent.
Tell a teacher. Tell a brother or sister.
Or just tell a friend.
You haven't done anything wrong.
Talk to someone.
Talk to someone.
It's how things get better.